Hello and welcome to my guide for the ultimate 1-point Smiter-Zealer PvM build. This guide will not go over any PvP, it is only for PvM. So yeah, just getting that out of the way. First I will go over the stats. Now I'm using an Archon plate, so I just need enough strength to wear that one and my Exile shield. So basically these two items just requires a lot of strength. So you get about 140 strength or so, and it's enough. I needed almost 175 dexterity for max block. Right now I think I have a little too many points in dexterity. So yeah, it does require quite a bit of dexterity to get max block with an Exile shield vortex. And you should aim for at least 400 vitality, but less can do it. But you don't want to be too squeezy on life. But like it doesn't really matter that you have, I don't know, 5,000 life on a paladin like this, cause you won't be taking a lot of damage anyway. Just to have a little bit of a meat shield that you can take a few hits that are big. And the attack rating. Oh yeah, I forgot to put this one on. Actually, I need to go and hit a helm up as well, just quickly, just to kind of get that out of the way so I can explain it a little better. Good. Yeah, it's stupid how the game doesn't upload or remembers the data from the last combat. Good. Now, as you can see, I have 94% chance to hit helm mobs in Act 5. So definitely aim for at least 10,000 attack rating. If you have less than 10,000 attack rating, it just kind of gets a little annoying. It's not really good. I would say you can easily play the build with, say, 8,000 or maybe even like 7,000 attack rating, but it's just annoying because you want to be able to hit mobs all the time. You never want to miss. So definitely aim for at least 10,000 attack rating, which would probably be about 90% hit chance on most mobs, even champion elite packs and stuff. Not quite sure about bosses, but definitely you can hit most mobs except bosses all the time. Now the defense is kind of up to yourself. I'm a big nerd on this. I really love defense. um, get at least 20,000, 25,000 defense. If you can get like 40,000 defense, that's amazing, and you should just go for it. Totally cool. Um, More defense always just makes you be hitless more, and also makes kind of faster hit recovery and stuff like that irrelevant if you don't get hit from melee mobs. Then it's just basically ranged mobs, elemental attacks that hurt you, which is not a problem if you have a lot of resist. And the life, I have just done over 2,000, which is plenty. You could have like 1,500 or so. Doesn't really matter too much as long as you have at least a little bit. This is kind of up to yourself. Just feel what you need. The resist is not that good for me right now. I have been thinking about getting a little more resist, but I don't really care for it. I survive pretty good anyway. The lightning resist is at least pretty high on this build. And I think that's about it for the stats. So let's go over the skills. Now I just took 1 point in all of these. You could not go for redemption and salvation. That's really up to yourself. And then there is the thing about vigor. As you can see right now, I have a velocity 30%. So that means I hit the next faster run roll breakpoint. If I didn't have 5 plus or 4 plus all skills, I would be at 26% faster run walk, I think, which then means I wouldn't hit the next breakpoint at 30% faster run walk. So just put 1 point to get an even number in this skill if you care for just a tiny bit faster run walk. It's really up to yourself. And you could go for meditation if you feel like it, but it's a pretty much useless aura for the most part. And then you had to take cleansing and prayer. Now for the remaining of the points in the build, I just put into Defiance to get even more defense. I think I get like 500 extra defense per skill point in this. It's something like that. So it helps quite a bit to reach higher defense amounts. Now, offensive auras, you can go and get these auras here if you feel like it, but for me, they're pretty much just useless. I will never use them. If you are PvPing or you maybe feel like you want to be smart in PvM, you could take Holy Freeze. It does have some uses to freeze mobs quickly, and then just kind of switch to Holy Freeze. Then they're frozen just for like an instant, and then you quickly switch to Fanatism. A lot of people does use that in PvP, but I don't really care for it. I tested it out before, and I don't like it. And basically just take Might, Blessed Aim. You could go for Blessed Aim, hard points instead of Defiance if you want more attack rating. But yeah, it gives so little anyways, so I just went with Defiance. And then Max Fanatism. Pretty straightforward. This is your main aura, the one you will be using nearly all the time, all the time if you were using an Enigma. Yeah. 1 point in Smite. You don't need more. You will see that in a bit. If you were doing PvP, you would probably max this, but just for PvM, 1 point into Smite is plenty. And then I maxed Holy Shield and took the synergies. You also see here that Defiance 50% defense per level, so yeah, it's like 500 defense, very hard point in Defiance. So you get a lot of defense with Holy Shield and Defiance together. And then I'm just max Sacrifice and Seal, that's pretty simple. I don't think there's any point in getting these, even for experimental builds. Just use Seal all the time or Smite. And that's it for the build. Now I'll just quickly go over my Merc. He's using an Ethereal Reverse. This one is nearly perfect and pretty high, so I'm quite happy with this one. The thing about this one is that it procs the decrypting, so it's really useful for melee builds. Not so much for ranged builds, but any builds that deals melee damage is gonna have a huge boost to your own damage um, from this weapon. So basically, not only does your Merc do the highest possible damage of any Merc setups, it also boosts your own damage, which is insane. So this weapon, you won't get better. I made guides for my Merc and tested the damage in other videos. You can go check those out for a more in-depth description of why this weapon and these two items together are the best for any melee builds. Now I'm using the Ethereal Bugged Hellforge Blade. This one is not it's not optimal. I should probably get a better one at some point. But the thing about Hellforge Blade is it makes my Merc run pretty slow. It's a heavy base armor, so that's not too nice to get minus 15 faster run penalty. The best would probably just be an Eve Bugged Archon Blade with like 1.2k defense. But yeah, this one works, and if you wanted to, you could also just use a non-Eve Archon plate and get less defense. But I feel like actually I'll just go and quickly show that. As you can see now, it gets almost 9,000 defense. And let's just take this one off quickly, so you see just the Eve part and all the defense, it adds like 3,000 defense. It's really nice. Oh, now it's just killing things. Yeah, I saw how fast it went. Just while I was tapped, it killed like 4 mobs. Okay, but basically, if you don't want the high defense, so Fate doesn't proc a lot, you can go for just a non-Eve armor. But I like this one just cause Defiance aura together with the Ethereal just gives so much defense. and it also just makes for a different build. Yeah, and this Ghoulish helm, there's no explanation for this one. No need to explain at least. It has everything you could ever want from a helm, and the important part is that it also adds crushing blow, which is really needed for this build. The boss damage is okay on a smiter, it's fine, but together with the merc it goes even faster. And since these two have no crushing blow, this is the optimal helm. And I sucked this one with a perfect enhanced increased duel, so I hit the breakpoint. But yeah, go check out my merc guide for more information about this setup. And let's say that was it for the merc, and let's go over the gear. I'll first just show my inventory. Now my inventory is pretty random. You can get much better inventory than mine, but I'll just quickly show them now. Yeah, using an unperm there. Pretty sure it's unperm at least. And then I'm using some faster hit recovery. These are pretty nice, nearly perfect. And then I'm using some grand champs. Again, I'm using these. I'll just quickly show now. They almost give like 600 attack rating each. It's really nice, and they're almost perfect too. So these are pretty good if you just want a lot of attack rating and no damage, which I do, because I believe that attack rating is the one best thing to stack on this character, at least until you hit the 95% hit chance. And pretty good, well, decent torch. If I had two more resist, I could have maxed my fire and cold, but yeah, I can always consider get better. And these Nonelius, and yeah, that's basically it for the inventory. Pretty random, but I have some decent jumps. These two makes me also reach the breakpoint for 48% faster hit recovery, together with this belt and the helmet. Okay, now let's go over the gear. I'm using some pretty grats, crushing blow blood gloves. I'm very happy about this one. They have all the stats that I could really want. Uh, the strength and the dexterity is nearly perfect, so is the life. The crushing blow is 9%. The only thing that really soggy about this one is the life steal and the resist. Um, you could also use these. I have some perfect Draculs here. Well, they miss one enhanced defense for being perfect, but I feel like this is a better setup, just cause you get more damage from this and other stats like dexterity. So I went with some Gratz expensive gloves, but just use some Draculs if you can afford really good gloves. And then I'm using a Raven's Frost ring. This one has all the stats that I could ever want from a ring. It gives a huge amount of attack rating. It gives cold damage, which I need, so I don't have to carry an cold damage charm in my inventory. It gives me, well, some mana, which is always good for some mana burn mobs. Cold absorb, which is useful. It's okay, not useless. And then of course the cannot be frozen. That is probably the most important part, so I don't have to use a jam room in my Gulliams. And then I'm using a pretty high Vadungus. I use this one for faster hit recovery, vitality, and the likes. Basically, it gives all stats that you really need, especially the high vitality is always good. And these ones are 40-50. But yeah, they're not. It's not a perfect Vadungu, but it's pretty high, so I'm happy about this one. And then I'm using a pretty Gratz ring here. I'm very happy about this one. High attack rating, maximum damage, high strength, some life, nearly perfect life at least. And then a high amount of lightning resist and some poison resist, which is always okay. So yeah, pretty happy with this ring. Could be better, but could also be worse. And then I'm using some, well, random 200 enhanced gore riders. I thought about getting upgraded, but I think this is okay as well, because if I use upgraded, I think they require 150 or so strength, and then I don't know if it's really worth getting upgraded. And then I'm using a nearly perfect grief. This is in an what's it called, in a perfect base, so it has a perfect base and 398% damage. So this is a pretty good grief. I'm happy about this one. And cause it's not perfect, it was also kinda cheap. It's not too expensive. And then an Archon 42. This one is pretty good as well. 12% enhanced defense, 30 resist. So it's not it's not the worst one. Again, if you use Archon plate, it's a light base, so you don't get any faster run roll penalty. So definitely aim for an Archon plate. And also, Archon plate just looks kind of cool on a paladin. At least I like the looks. And then an Exile shield. This one is nearly perfect as well. I love this Exile shield. I don't want to argue about this, or well, I actually have an upgraded nearly perfect Herald Second Room in my chest as well. But I don't want to argue about what shield is the best. I use this one just cause I like this the most. So yeah, that's up to yourself. But yeah, I went for an Exile cause I love the shield and I always wanted a good one. And I got one recently. And then this one is a controversial choice, but I feel like Metal Grid gives all the stats I want. Just gonna show just how much attack range this one gives. See? Isn't that amazing? It gives like 3000 attack rating. This one is also pretty high. It's hard to get a Metal Grid, at least on non-leather. Not many people have it, and they can be pretty expensive. But yeah, I looked on JSP for a while, and I got a pretty cheap one, cheap price for a good stat. So I'm very happy about that. And then recently, I got a new Gulliam's face. Before I just had one with an Ronin, but this one has 30% enhanced damage. It adds fire damage. It adds 25 defense, and then requirements minus 50. Basically, this duel is pretty fucking insane. I love this duel just cause it has all the correct stats, defense and damage. The requirements minus 50 means that I can put more points into vitality, which is really useful. And yeah, you can't just go with like a rune or yeah rune or something like that and not get a nice duel in the helm. But if you can afford it, get a nice duel in your Gulliam's helm. It's definitely cool. Now on my Switch, I just carry a random, well, not too random, but just a bow spirit and +6 call to arms. Now, for me to have a really perfect call to arms, it would be in a +3 Holy Shield War Scepter, but that costs so much. That Holy Shield Scepter is like the price of, well, I would say at least half my inventory, or I don't know, half my gear price, or something like that combined. Getting a Holy Shield in a call to arms, a War Scepter, just forget about it unless you're stupidly rich. On GSP, I think it's like 100 FG, maybe 200 FG for a good Holy Shield in a War Scepter. So yeah, it's pretty expensive. But it doesn't really matter too much anyways. But yeah, that's pretty much the gear. Now for some fun gameplay. As you can see in my inventory, I'm carrying a Mephisto's Brain, Bullseye, and Diablo's Horn. I prepared that for the video. So now I will actually go to Uber. Oh yeah, I also forgot. Should I also actually show my stash items? I just carry a bit of random paladin gear. Yeah, this is some old shit, not really any special, but I actually forgot to mention this. I actually just showed. If you're really hungry on attack rating, I'll just quickly show it now. I think I should. Yeah, I should take this one away, and there. Now, as you see, this is insane attack rating. 1000 attack rating from this ring, but it really nerfs my resist if I can't use metal grid. And I also like using this ring here. But go with angelic for cheap option if you want attack rating. These two items are not to be underestimated. These are really good. And then a Serap's Hymn, pretty standard. I used this one just for fun. I thought it would be pretty good, but Metal Grid is better. And the Hideout's Wrath, you can use this one for more damage if you don't want the survival. And a BK5 is also some uses. And then I also sometimes just pre-buff myself with a Demon Limb just for fun. And then I'm actually having a Fool's Weapon. I wouldn't say this one is grats, but it would be really good. It would well, it would have more attack speed. It would be, well, have other stats, but it has some things going for it. It has fire damage and pretty high enhanced damage, so it's kind of good. I could also show it just what the stats on a fool says. Um, yeah, as you can see, I get nearly 20,000 attack rating from the fool's weapon, which is insane. But grief will obviously do more damage. Um, yeah, it's a fun wave to keep in my stash. At some point, I might try to sell it, but the problem with Fool's Weapon nowadays is that it's overly botted and it's really hard to sell. What can you say? Average Fool weapons, because people who are looking to buy Fool's Weapon are not some dude like me who don't have that much wealth. They are looking for perfect Fool's Weapons, and they're not gonna be interested in a low Fool's Weapon. So this one is almost unsellable. Yeah, I can't sell it pretty much. I tried before, even on JSP. So yeah, I just gotta forget about that and enjoy it. Anyway, this is also how the Exile Shield looks without the Holy Shield on. I like the looks of a Vortex Shield. But enough talking. Let's get to the gameplay. So let's put the items in the cube. Just gonna drop this real fast. And let's see there. Now the fun thing about Ubers and me is that I haven't actually been doing Ubers for a really long while, maybe over 2 years, something like that. I basically just haven't been interested in Ubers, something like that. I basically just play Diablo 2 to gear characters, trade, and maybe play a bit every now and then in PvM. But yeah, I think I will pretty much own Ubers anyways. You could do a budget Smiter with the same build that I'm using for, I don't know, 1/10 of the price this character costed and still do Ubers. So yeah. Let's just get to it. Let's see, I actually think I should get some sound on. Okay, let's just go and do the hardest possible way that I can do this. Now, I should also explain the build just a little. Let's see. Yeah, in between mob packs, you want to use Vicar R so you can just run around really fast. And then as you approach mobs, you really just want to switch. Yeah, let's see just how fast my Merc survives or dies. Yeah, it died already there. It has no chance of surviving in this kind of thing area. But yeah, as you can see now, I can't die. Yeah, there's no really need to explain anymore. This is yeah. Now I just get quickly out, take a little potion. I don't have that much life in this dude. And actually, I forgot to use a bow. At least I think I forgot. So let's go and find. Oh, where did he go? That's odd. There you go. Now let's really see how fast this dies. Now I'm really going for. Oh, I forgot to put them in Sisma. As you can see, the damage is just insane. It kills so fast, and you can easily tank all three Ubers together with the mobs around. And mana burn doesn't really matter too much. The problem is just that you need to have the boss hit it and not some random mob around it. This is also why attack rating is really useful, because if you don't hit mobs in these situations, you're just gonna die. You need the leech all the time. So low attack rating is definitely too risky for me at least. And I think the mob is about to die around Bale soon enough. So let's go Smiter. And it's down. Good stuff. Now let's clear out the remaining mobs, just to kind of showcase the damage on that as well. The problem with this build is that it hits, well, a limited amount of targets. Doesn't really have any kind of like pierce or whatever. Wow, the poison is really nasty. I just have to wait a little on cleansing, I think. Good. Yeah, poison damage, that will always be a problem for these builds, it seems, but they are also physical immunes, these mobs here, which doesn't really help it. Physical immunes is just a pain to fight, but that's really also the only thing this build can't handle. But that is why you also have Crushing Blow. I believe Crushing Blow actually helps on damaging physical immunes. But as you can see, the non-physical immune mobs pretty much just dies. It's not a problem at all. But let's just drop my torch now and see what I looted, just for fun. Could be I'm lucky. Wow, what a shit one. There's a reason why people sell United torches for 2 high runes, because they just farm, they farm their torches without even caring for the stats, because they feel they will always roll low stats anyways. So there's really no point in trying to sell an United intensified one. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the guide. I'll just go back to town now. Oh, right, you can do. Yeah, good. Yeah, I hope you liked the gameplay in the end there and found the guide useful. It took quite a time to get all this gear at least. This was not an easy character to gear. So yeah, I hope you found it useful and goodbye.